What is up, and welcome to the Bruin Bible. Your host, Will Decker, here with your co-host, Jamal Madney. We have a very, very special guest in the house. The guy listed below me as MJ himself, Mr. Martin Jarmond, the athletic director for your UCLA Bruins. Martin, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend?
Will, Jamal, good to have me on. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing great. It's Tuesday, it's sunny, and we're getting closer to graduation next week, so all is well in Westwood.
Shout out UCLA softball being in the College World Series. Some big stuff going on there. Martin, we got some questions across the board to talk to you about, but first I kind of want to start with your background within the sports world. And I know you were a player at UNC Wilmington. You kind of took that and you worked at Michigan State as an assistant AD. You went to Ohio State, then you went to BC and now UCLA. I want to know why you wanted to become a leader within the college sports world and what kind of drove that passion to get to where you are today.
I had a great experience as a student athlete at UNC Wilmington. You know, that was the foundation, you know, ups and downs, not playing as much as you think you should and balancing everything. I just had a great support system in my coaches and staff and athletics. And so it meant so much to me that I wanted to give back and do the same thing for young people because I had a great experience that shaped me a lot. So that was the reason why I wanted to go into college athletics. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but knew I wanted to be in that environment to help shape young people.
Man, great answer off the top. We're gonna pivot off to some football questions that we got for you, man. We're approaching.
I didn't know you were going to do that.
I mean, LA Football Network, who would have thought on that front? Chip Kelly, I think, it was a lot of talk going on whether he should come back or not. We are a Pro Chip Kelly podcast. We're very grateful that he is coming back to UCLA. What in your mind, aligned him to come back and be, the man in charge for the next 2 years after his latest extension?
Well, first of all, it's a 4-year extension, so he's going to be a lot longer than 2 years. And there was never a question to me about maybe that was talk that I'm not familiar with. But for me, Chip has done a tremendous job with growing and building the program. I came in and I look forward. You don't get marked on what you did years ago. You get marked on what you're doing now and what you do moving forward. And if you look at what he's done, he's really built the program. And now we're on an upward trajectory with his leadership and going through a challenging time with COVID and all of that. But I mean, last year, 8-4, and the type of games that we won in the big games. We had College Game Day here. But you also saw a team that developed, and now you send in, 6 or 7 draft picks. I mean, that's top 10 in the country. So the trajectory and all signs are pointing to positive, and that's under Chip Kelly's leadership. So that was never a question for me. I'm excited that he's with us and what he's doing, because in these chaotic times in college football, especially, you want a leader and you want someone that understands, that has been there, that's done that, and is a teacher and a motivator. And Chip does that. He's an innovator too. I mean, everybody knows how talented he is offensively, but he's a talented leader, period. I mean, just overseeing the whole program. And if you talk to the student athletes, which we do all the time, especially at the end of the year, they talk about just their growth and development and how much they love this program and transfers coming in. It's a new day and age with transfers now being able to transfer immediately. I like to talk to some of the transfers that have come from other big places, Notre Dame, Alabama, Duke. Obviously, we've had some transfers from big places. Obi from Stanford. And I mean, Obi would tell me like, this is the best place he's been, as far as how we treat the players and just the coaching that they get in the direction. So that's really all positive, and that's a credit to Chip. So I love working with Chip. He understands it. He gets it. And I'm excited about what we're going to do this upcoming year.
MJ, that's fantastic. And kind of segueing a little bit off of the on the field and the coaching aspect, obviously so much has changed paradigm-wise in the sport. You mentioned the transfer portal, and then of course we've got things like NIL, name, image, and likeness. I know that UCLA has been really at the forefront of innovation around NIL with the Westwood Exchange, and maybe you can talk about that as well as some of your other specific plans around partnerships, alumni engagement, and how do you see NIL as a differentiator for UCLA football moving forward?
Well, name, image, and likeness has been something we've always been supportive of. You know, I've been on the record of being supportive of name, image, and likeness even before it was happening. And at UCLA, you know, obviously we want to be leaders. You know, we don't have to be the first at something. And anytime you have a new environment, whether it's transfers or NIL, you know, you want to learn. You don't want to be too fast, because to me, I want to see what others are doing, see what mistakes are made, try to avoid some of those pitfalls. But then once we go, we're going to go hard. We're going to go strong. And that's what we did with Westwood Exchange. You know, we have a platform that allows donors, companies, alumni. It could be the LA Football Network even to come on this platform. Student athletes.
We're on.
That's right. That's right. You can get some of our guys right now and gals right now and connect directly. And what it does is it lets you do the deal right there on the platform, and then it produces a 1099. It reports to our compliance, so it just handles it and makes it kind of easy to connect. And we do that, and we offer that for all of our student athletes that want to opt in. So that's something that was big for us. I know in the first month we had over, I want to say 70 companies and individuals, which was probably top 3 or 4 in the country as far as those that have a program like this. So that just shows the background and the alumni support and the community business engagement that we have behind UCLA, which is huge. And that's an asset. One of the best thing about UCLA is the people. And we have some great people, great alumni, great companies that are associated or run by Bruins. And so that's something we got to tap into and leverage. And we're still figuring some of that out. But we were strong out of the gates, and we want to be an innovator here. And some of that is kind of learning exactly what's the NCAA going to do and how this rolls out. You know, anytime you have something new, there's going to be a learning curve. And I think for student athletes, for administrators, for coaches, we're all still learning and growing, but we're doing it together. And that's one thing that we're talking to our student athletes and kind of trying to see where the gaps are as far as education. We partner with the law school, so our student athletes can get free legal counsel from law students, which is great. So it's, again, partnering with the assets that we have here on campus. We partner with the Anderson School of Management as far as business and contract. So we're trying to provide resources for our student athletes, and then we're going to get some feedback. And there might be gaps where, like, hey, we need to be learning about this, or we should be doing this, or what about this? We're going to get that feedback this summer, and then we're going to come back in the fall and try to address those things to provide our student athletes with the resources they need to take advantage of name, image, and likeness, because this is their time to shine. So we want to do everything we can to help them.
MJ, that's terrific to hear. And, you know, it's always so refreshing. You have been such a remarkable leader, not just in the athletic department, but just in the community. And your social media presence is just infectious. And, you know, we just sort of love watching you and sort of seeing you interact with social media. You know, MJ, I think you have a very unique job in the landscape of college football and college.
That's a nice way of putting it, unique.
Unique. UCLA, MJ, is a special place. I mean, obviously, in terms from an academic perspective, medical ecosystem, you know, the soul for social justice. It's a very complex political infrastructure with the regions, the state. Given all of those sort of considerations, what does success look like on the field, kind of tangibly, with UCLA football? When, you know, what's sort of the consistent win total, or what are the consistent outcomes that you want to see at UCLA where you say, I'm doing my job, I feel like I'm really sort of hitting the peak of what my vision is?
As the athletic director, you want to provide the resources and support for your coaches to lead. You know, that's the primary job. Our focus is always the student athlete experience. And first and foremost, that's what I look at. You know, what kind of experience are our young men having on the football team, for example, and making sure that is the best that we can possibly give and provide. After that, you know, I don't look at any sport as like wins and losses. This is success. I really don't. I believe in every day. You know, we talk about elite here. You see that on our email signatures. I've talked about elite: energy, leadership, integrity, toughness, excellence. And that's a mindset. That's not wins and losses. That's every day. I'm going to give you what I got. And that's having an elite mindset. And that's kind of what I measure. That's what I look at. So I don't have a certain number, Jamal, that you try to say, hey, you know, at the beginning of the year or anything. I just want us to get better, and I want us to provide our student athletes a great experience, and I want to win. They want to win. They come to UCLA to win. So we want to win just as much as anybody. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to play hard and let the chips fall where they may. But I look at the overall experience for the student athlete as far as how I gauge success, because I don't care how many games you win, wins and losses come and go. But that experience of while they're here in Westwood, and what was that like, and how did that mold them and shape them, and what kind of person are they when they leave here? That's the most important thing. That's the thing that I don't lose sleep over, that is what we provide them and the experience that we give our students.
I love it, man. And, one big change that the athletic department did make in this past 18 months is we pivoted to the Jordan brand. And that is such a very cool looking brand. I know you're a basketball player, Martin. I was wearing the Jordan shoes growing up just because I love them. I still have my ones in my closet to this day.
Woo!
How did this MJ get connected to that MJ down in North Carolina? Because you guys are both North Carolina boys as well.
Well, what's funny is MJ was like the last piece of agreeing to become Jordan Brand School. So they all go through him. And so when we were kind of in the final stages, and for us, it was really important to be a Jordan Brand School, because that was going to differentiate us. And that's what the kids love. That's what our young people, Jordan is hot. That's fire, right? That's whatever, drip, whatever you want to say, right? And so that was important to us. And as we were going back and forth with Nike, it got to a point where it's like, okay, we got to ask MJ and see how he is. And then it was like, I think he was on the golf course for a week or something. And it was just like, it was like waiting to hear back if he was good with it or not. And that was like music to my ears when Nike let me know that Michael was good with UCLA and wanted to partner with us. It was like, game on, man. Like, let's go, so that was exciting. But he has to be on board. But if he ain't on board, it ain't happening. So I'm just glad that he was on board.
I got to ask, do you still get starstruck talking to like Michael Jordan? Because I know you're an athletic director, you're making communications with everyone around. MJ, to me, like, that is my like sports idol right there. So
I didn't get to talk to him. I've never talked to him. So let me be clear. I was working through Nike, talking to him, and vice versa. Like that, I never got to talk to him. But I tell you, UCLA, we've got so many legends that you do. Kareem, like Andy Myers-Drysdale texts me sometimes, and I'm just like, every time she texts me, I'm just like geeked out, like, oh my God, and she'll text. We'll text during a game sometimes too. So, but that's just UCLA. That's what's cool about it, is there's so many people. Russ, Kevin Love, like, I don't want to forget anybody. So, but you know what I mean. Like, there's so many. Eric Hendricks, like, there's so many people that that I've communicated with or talked to that you're just like, whoa, Kareem, whoa, it's like, so it's cool. It's cool. That's a UCLA thing that's really distinctive about UCLA.
Well, Martin, so many UCLA legends.
UCLA is, one of the things you mentioned about this great lineage, and it's so great to sort of hear that, we've done so many firsts at UCLA, right from, I'm so happy you mentioned Ann Myers-Drysdale and Jackie Robinson and on the list goes. There's two guys kind of on the contemporary team, MJ, that we sort of hope to see as that next lineage of leader. And both of them chose to come back. Dorian, obviously, with an opportunity to go pro, decided he wanted to come back to really put a stamp on his legacy at UCLA, it felt like. And then the other one was Zach. I mean, the opportunity, especially as a running back, MJ, the shelf life being what it is, I thought it just spoke volumes that he wanted to come back for the UCLA experience. Can you speak about those two gentlemen in particular and what they've meant to the program and what you sort of expect from them moving forward?
Well, both of those young men are exceptional. I mean, you know that. I can't say enough. I mean, Dorian, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But again, Dorian can do anything on the field. He has that kind of talent level. But what I've been fortunate to see is just his growth and maturation as a leader, as a person, how he leads others, how he takes care of people, how he thinks about the greater good. And that's what's going to make him great in whatever he does after the football stops for him, whenever that is. But everybody sees his talent. I mean, he can single-handedly do things that you're just like, oh my God, how did that happen, right? I mean, I'm thinking about the SC game last year. Geez, like he was making plays left and right all the time. But it's really the kind of person he has become, and just how he goes about his business. You talk about an elite mindset, he's got that. And so that's really cool for me to see and be a part of, and just try to help him reach his goals and everything that he wants to be, not just on the football field, but I'm really talking about off the field. And Zach, I mean, Zach is unbelievable. He's a quiet, humble gentleman, but he's a beast on the field, right? But he's just the nicest guy off of it. And, I love seeing someone like him that went away and came back home, and it worked out. It worked out for him. It's worked out for UCLA. And that's what it's about, because, everybody's journey looks different. And Zach is a testament that, you know what, you may go this way and it doesn't work out, or you may have to come that way and you can still be better for it. Johnny Juzang, you saw that with him. I was so happy to see how his college career played out, because that shows that you can always come home, or you can have a different path and it looked even better than what you imagined. And Zach, he's the best running back in the country. I think, I'm hoping that we get some better game times this year, because, East Coast needs to see him, man. He can go. And Dorian and him both, like that 1-2 punch. I'll put those two up against anybody in the country, but they're better people than they are football players by far. And I'm not just saying that. If you spend time around them, those are great dudes.
Well, Martin, we've got to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule for coming on. We can say it was such a big thrill for us to get the legendary new UCLA AD. We've been mentioning all these legends. We got the newest legend in the house, man.
I'm not legendary yet, man.
Hey, legendary status is coming from my guy MJ down there. We are so thrilled to have you, my man. Thank you so much for coming on the LA Football Network.
Thanks for having me, Jamal. Take it easy. Go Bruins.
Thanks.
Go Bruins.